Hello dear friends and followers. This is the video for the year 2025. The year 2025 will be certainly remembered in history. In general, the period from 2020 to 2027 is something exceptional in the new history of the world, no matter how we understand that new history. So here is a summary right at the beginning. From 2025, Pluto will definitely remain in the sign of Aquarius, which is extremely important for the development of the world events, of course, but also for the change of the collective consciousness. This happens for the first time after the year 1778 to 79, when that happened the last time. Neptune is in the last degrees of Pisces and moves briefly into the sign of Aries, as does Saturn. Uranus also moves briefly into the sign of Gemini. Uranus, this year, like in the previous one, makes a conjunction with the star Algol. The fact that all of a sudden, in 2025, three big planets move into another astrological sign, and that Saturn, our most serious teacher, accompanies them, brings something really special. This transition will be most visible during the summer, when a picture of a new world will be briefly shown, but that picture will be more complete only in the year 2026. All transits and aspects indicate a major upheaval on the world stage during 2025 and further also in 2026. I don't know how that will look like. You will remember my videos in which I announced the year 2020. Then I spoke about the end of the old world, but even in my wildest dreams, I could not guess how it would manifest itself. That is through the mass lockdowns of people who live in this whole planet. So now also I cannot accurately imagine the transition of a transition to this new state of the world, but I will describe the patterns in this video and leave the rest to your imagination, or let's say leave the rest to the life itself, or perhaps we should say leave the rest to modern technology, which probably has surprises for us in this year, because already strange aircrafts and strange drones and things like that are flying over America, and not only over America, over other countries also. So this definitely means that they are practicing something, because they said after the pandemic there is going to be some attack from the extraterrestrials. I would not be surprised if that would be the issue. There will also be major changes in individual lives that offer many new opportunities for self-realization and gaining self-knowledge. Horoscopes for all zodiac signs are on my site, symbolicthinking.net, but unfortunately, maybe for you, not in English. These videos I make in Czech language and in Serbian language. But at the end of this video, I will shortly mention all of the signs of the zodiac. Soon I will also make a video for the Chinese New Year, that will be the year of the wooden snake, and this means that it in a way will be repeated events that were happening in 1965. So let's now speak step by step. Let's describe the most important aspects and transits in the year 2025. In December 2024, we talked about Mars and said that it will be in Cancer and Leo from September 5th, 2024 to June 17, 2025. When Mars is in Leo, it strengthens the ego of warriors and leaders. It brings love for victory. While when it is in Crab, it can be very self-destructive and even destroying those who are close around, even destroying unintentionally. So we start the year with retrograde Mars in Leo, but already from January 7 to February 23rd, Mars will be retrograde in the sign of Cancer, better to say sign of Crab. We will say Crab in this video. And when it's retrograde, it is even stronger than when it's direct. So when Mars started to be the retrograde in Leo in December 2024, Syria fell. We know that in the year 2011, when they destroyed these twins in New York, like World Trade Center, which America and Israel, of course, destroyed purposely, they actually announced that they are starting a new war against terrorism. And it was publicly even stated in America that Lebanon, Iran, Iraq, Libya, Sudan, Somalia, Syria, those countries should be destroyed, supposedly due to terrorism, and as we can see, they're still working on that goal. They are a bit slower than they wanted. Apparently, all of those countries were supposed to be destroyed in 5 years, which did not happen. But unfortunately, I cannot tell you that this will immediately stop in the year 2025. No, the first half of that year, we have all these old trends. So there are going to be fights most probably. However, during the summer, something like a miracle happens and the energy changes completely, because then all of the big planets, as we said, are in a new astrological signs, and then after that, they will return to the place where they were at the beginning of the year. So November and December, the energy falls, and it is almost at the same place where it was at the end of the winter 2025. Means that this year 2025 goes like this and then goes down again. So why is it so? Of course we don't know, but this is the rhythm of the year. During the summer we will briefly have a short term but almighty view of the new world. And what exactly? This is what I can't tell you. Then there will be in that time the hint of what we will definitely have experience with in 2026, and that will later change our lives. Everything that is already happening now and will happen during the year 2025 is a struggle at the level of the spirit, we can say it, or it is the struggle for the human consciousness, we can say even like that. This is the highest level. But on the lower level, this is the fight between the clans that want to have power and dominance in this world, in this planet. Those clans are not governments and presidents, of course. They are much higher structures that will obviously have to decide where they are leading this world in 2025, and will either have to bring these struggles to an end and share what they gain, or what is also possible, they will make the U-turn regarding to their plans, because they are forced by something or somebody to change these plans definitely. As we know, Pluto is in Aquarius, as it was in the period from 1777 to 1798. Pluto was in Aquarius even earlier, from 1532 to 1553, and then before, from 1286 to 1307. And we can go back into the history, but let's stay on those years. Pluto in Aquarius moves the masses, or the people, if you will, leads to the expansion of territories, leads to the expansion of consciousness, especially collective consciousness, opens the issues of freedom, or open the issues of the power of a certain groups of people, or all of the collective, how far they can go in any sense. However, it is especially noteworthy that Pluto in these years reaches opposition I mean, these years, this is 25 especially, 24, 25, 26, but especially 25, it reaches opposition in relation to its position in the sign of Leo, where Pluto was in the years 1940 to 1942, which means in the Second World War. There is a world going on again. Now we have the Third World War, and some things are repeating, but something is completely different. While at the time of the Second World War, Pluto gave power to leaders who have pretensions to conquer the world, now it gives the power to people, or these masses, or maybe even to those who want to liberate the world. So it is quite different, Pluto in Aries and Pluto in Aquarius. So the old egoistic conquerors, or let's say politicians if you wish, with this transit have no chance on the long run. Typical representatives on the conquering spirit, ready to kill millions of people to achieve their, let's say, personal goals, have no chance in the future. Just we don't know exactly when this future will come, but we will see. So this year there is a twist also in globalistic politics that will have a huge impact on the world and will affect almost every segment of our societies. It was similar at the time of the creation of America, which was created as the main global hegemon, and now it is coming to the end. America is not going to be the global hegemon anymore, and new units will be created, most probably few of them, and that's how the power, let's say, will be shared. The American War of Independence lasted from 1775 to 1783. During the year 1779, Pluto was at the same degrees as it will be in 2025. Of course, we are expecting big changes in America and in the world. However, it is possible to wonder if maybe this war that Israel is now waging using the money of America and the citizens of America, is that maybe the repetition of the civil war that was in America in the 18th century. So it is not really clear whether it's going to be the war on the territory of America or the repetition of the war from the 18th century. Is this what is happening now in Israel? Because now America and Israel are fighting against Middle Eastern countries and against the Muslim world. So we will see. I think that most probably something will happen also in America, on the territory of that country. It is very promising that from July to October, Pluto, Neptune and Uranus, three major planets, the biggest planets that always influence the world events, will be in a new astrological signs and create positive aspects between themselves. The exact aspects will be from August 23 to September 14. All three planets will be on the first degree, which is extremely interesting. It is going to be the first degree of Aries, Aquarius and Gemini. Even during the August, Saturn will be with them at the first degree of Aries. The trine and the sextiles between fire Aries and air signs of Gemini and Aquarius speak of new ideas, new technologies, and also new organization of the world, the new way of transportation, and end of warfare. Especially end of the warfare in a way as we had it until now, but also means many other things. These three planets will make harmonious aspects also in the coming years. They're already actually doing it, but there is an exact aspect. There are exact aspects in August and September, but we will feel them few years. Even let's say we feel them for like 4 or 5 years. This is a significant of that now practical and human visionaries will come to the surface, and they will in a way exchange their position with these old egoistic maniacs who ruled the world for a long time until now. It is simply incredible that the great planets meet in the first degrees. According to the ancient astrologers, these first degrees are not all of them are bright, and ancient astrologers were saying about degrees that they are dark, semi-bright, and bright, and according to that people would know if it's good or bad time. These are not all bright, but I am not going to speak according to these ancient astrologers. I will say the meaning of the degrees according to Indian astrology, which is also part of the way how the degrees are understood by Ade, this very famous French astrologer, and I often use his book for the degrees. So the first degree of Aries means a man ready to fight and believes in his victory. It's a big thing. The first degree of Gemini, a brave man who overcomes obstacles. You see, this is a very big fight now. The first degree of Aquarius, it's a book, compass, and hourglass. You know this, the glass with the sand that is leaking through it. And the meaning of this first degree of Aquarius is, because of those symbols, scientific spirit, study of natural laws, and the things that are connected with these natural or, let's say, universal laws. Let's pay attention here to the fact that there is also this hourglass, you know, this like a watch, sand watch, and this means the time is passing. Either the time is running for somebody, or we have to do something in the right time. Based on this symbolism, we see that the struggle, it is still necessary, but the victory is assured to those who know natural or, let's say, universal laws. Therefore, it is not possible to win without knowledge. Pluto in Aquarius emphasizes knowledge, and since its ruler is Uranus, it is about specific knowledge related to the law of the universe. In my article, which I entitled Prometheus as a Spiritual Technological Revolution of European Civilization, I wrote about the fact that Uranus, through Aquarius, describes the laws that are cosmic by giving them the earthly form. Of course, his favorite science is astrology. So this unusual combination of planets is indeed very promising. However, during the year 2025, we still have many other aspects, but let's say that the knowledge, and especially astrological knowledge, is going to be the key thing here. Further, we will say more about that. Let's also mention that we have many things happening in Pisces. Now eclipses are going to be on the Pisces-Virgo axis. With eclipses in Pisces, it can come to the end this irrational madness, lies and manipulation, especially in the era of religion or beliefs. And even we can say the greater the religious fanatism is, the worse things are. And many now want to create this new state, new country, because God promised them, or somebody promised them. Climax at the end can be expected already in the years 2026 and 27. And I want to say here that myths only work as long as people believe in them. When they stop believing, then new myths appeared, which may have a similar pattern to the previous ones, but the meaning can be completely different, even the opposite. Pluto in Aquarius, as well as the sextile with Uranus, signifies true knowledge. It is time to be rational and to properly understand both hemispheres of the brain. One is there to invent stories, myths, and create art. And the other is there to solve rational and practical tasks. Mixing their functions does not lead to anything good, which is now happening in the world. As here I said something, not really open, but I guess you know what I'm talking about. So eclipses will switch places also with Saturn and Neptune. Namely, eclipses move from Aries Libra axis to Virgo Pisces axis, while Saturn and Neptune move from Pisces to the Aries sign and activate again Aries Libra axis. It is obvious that it will bring us some new view on these areas, but Saturn is still in Pisces for the most of the year, and together with the eclipses there, warns of the quasi-healing scams that we saw in the previous years. Also, it speaks about the manipulation of human feelings that we also saw in previous years. Terrible fear that they invented. The consequences of the treatments from the 2021 are likely to increase now. Maybe people will more speak about that, maybe they will more need to heal people who were damaged in that time, and so on. In December 2024, General Igor Kirillov was killed in Moscow, and he is most responsible for exposing the biolaboratories in Ukraine, and he was the one who investigated this pandemic. And he prepared documents for the United Nations. Everything is there, but nobody is reacting. He even discovered that this pandemic was not invented in China, but in America, and so on. So they murdered him. Unfortunately, it's very hard to show the truth, but the time of the truth is coming more and more, and I think that this scam that was connected with this so-called disease, with the eclipses on Pisces Virgo axis will increase. Now we will learn, I guess, more and more. Maybe everything will be discovered even, but we will see. Pisces Virgo is the axis of healing. So in the past, healing was done in the temples, which is Pisces, and healers practiced spiritual techniques, that is also Pisces. Today, in the official medicine of the West, nothing like that happens. It is only about chemicals. Of course, that they know many things, but they don't have this holistic approach, which is necessarily, that would connect body with the spirit. And that's why we have that many quasi-healers, and that's why that happened in 20 and 21. And in the future, things will change, and we will have new kind of medicine. Maybe we'll deal with frequencies and this kind of things, and it is possible that it will be widespread in 2025 and after. Okay, now let's speak about Saturn and Neptune. Saturn and Neptune have been together in Pisces since 2023 and did not make conjunction in the sign of Pisces. They will make the conjunction in the sign of Aries for the first time in 2025. When these planets make the conjunction, we call it great conjunction. And if in 1 year we have great conjunction, it is an important year. Let me remind you that in 2020 we had 4 great conjunctions. That was really something exceptional. So in 2025 it will be exact conjunction of Saturn and Neptune from the August the 1st to the August 16th. The ruler of Mars, the ruler of conjunction Mars, will be in quite strong position, but this conjunction itself is not going to be strong enough because both of those planets will be retrograde. So they will have the tendency to leave the sign of Aquarius. This means that this sensational conjunction does not have enough power to manifest itself in the 2025. But it will happen again in February and March 2026, and then we will really see what it means. By moving into the sign of Aries, Saturn and Neptune symbolize the movement from the feet to the head, from winter to spring, from passivity to activity. In order to understand better what this conjunction in Aries will mean, you can check my older video about Saturn in Pisces, Historical Parallels. This is the name of the video. There I also mention Saturn and Neptune. The current cycle of Saturn and Neptune begins in 1989 in the sign of Capricorn, just a few days after the fall of the Berlin Wall. And this cycle now ends in the years 2025 and 26. That was a 36-year cycle. This means that the consequences of the fall of the Berlin Wall will be shown. It will be shown whether the division of the territories from that time was sustainable, whether this new social system that was established in Europe and other countries was sustainable, and so on. Also, we will see whether this great expectation of people, especially politicians, because the conjunction was in Capricorn, so politicians were very important, did their expectations met? The question is further, what will bring the new cycle in which Saturn and Neptune will combine through the sign of Aries from 2025-26? This cycle will also last 36 years and will have its ups and downs. It is quite certain that will bring some new socialism or a system in which the vulnerable will be helped, or let's say maybe the system in which there will be not so great differences between social classes in the material sense. It is likely that this conjunction will be preceded by a period of great economical collapse, and it is already in a way happening, and it can happen even more. In 1989, people fantasize about the end of totalitarianism, just like we do today. Each in its own way, but there are similarities. The only question is whether we will be misled now, as the members of the so-called Eastern Bloc were misled when they were entering the so-called Western Bloc at the end of the 80s and beginning of the 90s. Let's ask ourselves also, when was the last time Neptune in Aries? Let's talk now a little Neptune in Aries, about that. It was in 1861, when the Civil War begins in America between the North and the South over slavery. What is very interesting. In Russia, at the same year, serfdom was abolished. And that was one of the biggest reforms of society in the Imperial Russia. Did they succeed in liberating one or the other in those empires? It is a question. Maybe yes, in a way, but the trouble is that we still live in some sort of slavery, all of the people in this planet. We are not the slaves as those were in the past. We are some sort of democratic slaves, but still we are not free, not at all. They are following us on mobile phones 24 hours in a day. They locked down us in the years 2021. They did with us what they wanted. So we are in a way slaves again. It is quite certain with those aspects now that we are going to have that they will give us a greater degree of freedom. And the technocratic project of human robotization will not succeed. It is quite possible. The only question is now how long that certain free state will last and what kind of freedom they are going to give to us. Let's wait and see. Let's ask ourselves further, when was the last time Neptune with Saturn together in Aries? That was in 1703, at the time when colonialism flourished in the West, and even earlier in 1380s when the Turkish invaded the Balkans. So you see what is happening, nothing really nice with this. But to study these years properly, we need to study other transits, and I will try to make a new video, separate video on Saturn and Neptune in Aries. However, to go back a little, it is important to repeat something we have already said. When Neptune was in Pisces from 2011 to 2025, even 26, we had the opportunity to see both negative and positive manifestations of this transit. Watch my videos on the topic Neptune in Pisces. There are many shorter and bigger, longer videos if you need to remind yourself what was that about. As negative manifestations of this transit, we can take mass hysteria and mass manipulations, lies, diseases, fake diseases, and so on. But the positive side of Neptune in Pisces was that he was the protector and the savior in a way. Also, he brought the messenger. Brought the messages. He was like a messenger of the new eon, the new era of religious thought. Let's use this word eon as Gnostics were using. So Neptune was in a way a foreshadowed of new form of religiosity, and of course this also can be good and bad, because these crazy people who rule the world, they know about this. That's why they serve to people now some sort of a new religion that is going to be secular. I'm not going to go into details. I spoke in my videos about this. So we see here that the same energy created troubles and brought protection. It depends what we do with this energy. It is always like that with any transit. So for many years, Neptune was the most dominant planet in the sky. It was very, very strong. And if we say that he was kind of a protector for us, now is the question, what will happen when Neptune moves to Aries? Whether there is going to be any protection for the humans. And the answer is yes, it will be, because Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, as we already described, create these positive aspects. But what is more important here is not that we need the savior and the protection, which is Neptune about. It is much more important to understand that crazy people who rule the world in a way, they create problem and then they kind of save us from that problem. And people want that, or people wanted that until now. But now we need to understand that we do not need this game anymore. So the only and real salvation can be for us knowledge. We just need to know everything what they know, and that's how they cannot rule us anymore. Further, it is necessary to explain that Saturn and Neptune meet in Aries, and that this combination is not well matched. Not Saturn, not Neptune, they do not feel well in the Aries sign. They're quite opposite energies. But still we can assume some topics. So what can be with these planets in Aries for the next 36 years? First, restrictions or bans of the use of some medicines and drugs. Establishment of organizations for the protection of those who are sick or who need protection. Perhaps for protection of those who were wounded in the years 2020 or 2021 because they got this injection which damaged them in a way. There can be appearing of spiritual leaders and social reformers, along with the creation of the system, we said, that will be equal in a way. We said some sort of a socialism. There can be restrictions of the use of weapons, restrictions of military structures, and sort of demilitarization. Then it's possible that will be some sort of limitation of individual political ambitions, that the politicians actually cannot do things for themselves only, in a selfish way. They will be controlled. There also can be some sort of a fear of limitation and inability to use one's will. This is kind of fear of the beginning, because people will be in the position to go into something that is completely new. They never saw this before, and many will be afraid of this. Then it's possible that conservatism among young people will appear, which would be good. And also generally it's starting now, we'll be starting to rebuild, we all will be starting to rebuild something with the knowledge that this will last for the long time. It will be this feeling of, okay, this is the beginning and we need to work for many decades because something was badly damaged or because we were misused, so it's very, very hard to repair things. We here now mention demilitarization, and that can be a big topic with this conjunction. It is already clear after the use of the Oreshnik. This is new, this hypersonic weapon that Russian recently used. It is after that clear that there is no need for nuclear weapons. That is why it is no longer possible to scare people that they will be attacked by Russia or China or Iran or anybody with nuclear weapons. There is no point for digging bunkers anymore because Oreshnik destroys everything under earth also. So now is the thing, what will do NATO countries and how they will scare their people? For now, NATO countries are not speaking much about Oreshnik. They pretend that it does not exist. It's kind of taboo in the newspapers on the West. As somebody said, the elephant is in the room, but everybody pretends they do not see it. But sooner or later, they will see this. Of course, Russia is developing new hypersonic weapons that West does not have, and things are pretty clear now how that will develop. The conjunction of Saturn and Neptune can bring great hopes but also great disappointments, which will be shown during these 3 to 6 years. For some, this conjunction will bring the realization of their wildest dreams. Many will believe in heaven on earth, or we can say many will start believing that the golden age really started. This is one of the biggest myths in our time, but many will be disappointed with this and will face the fact that their dreams will never come true. It depends on people. Let's also say that Saturn is in a very weak position in transiting through the sign of Pisces because his ruler is Neptune. And this is the reason why Saturn could not rule through Pisces, or to say, that's why this World Health Organization could not become the main Gestapo for the whole world, even if they prepared everything, all laws, legislative works in all of the countries were prepared for this, but it did not happen. However, during the year 2025, Neptune stays longer in Aries, while Saturn remains alone in Pisces, which will be all of April, almost all of May, and then September, and almost all October. And this is quite sensitive period of the year. It is also associated with the eclipses on Pisces-Virgo axis. And then we can expect discomfort on a collective level. Let's be careful in this time. What is here quite interesting to mention also is that Pisces is also very much connected with new technologies, invisible technologies. And if they don't invent new pandemic, definitely can be that they invent this attack from extraterrestrials, all things like that, by using holograms or some new technology, because this is what they said. They said in their agendas that this is going to happen in this world, and now it seems it is the time, because they're already doing it in 2024. Maybe they will try it even more in 2025, but generally I think that their plans will fail completely. Maybe just some trying can be. And it's important to know about that. What is happening now through the Pisces archetype is very significant. because that's what is happening in Pisces and also in Aquarius with Pluto, actually is saying that something big is happening on micro level. This is micro level for us, but on micro level something is happening. There are bigger things than transits of planets. So what that can be? Well, we can assume that this is that age of Aquarius that Jung, Carl Gustav Jung, psychologist, was writing about in his book Eon. And that's most probably the great secret that was revealed to Jung because he was a member of some secret societies who has knowledge from the Egyptian secret schools. There are many spiritual schools in the world, but they interpret that what is happening in the world in a different way. But those who were speaking about eons and the age of Aquarius, this is the knowledge from the ancient Egypt. And we definitely know that globalists are using symbols everywhere where they are. They're using symbols from ancient Egypt. So obelisks, always where there are obelisks, that is the place for the globalists. Or they use the eye of a god and many others. So actually globalists who are giving us signs where they are, they definitely use Egyptian mystic schools, not others. And this was what was revealed to Carl Gustav Jung, and this is about the new age of Aquarius. So it seems that it is coming. And that's why we have these events happening through the sign of Aquarius and Pisces now. Let's mention shortly Uranus in Taurus. It is now at the last degrees, thanks God, and from July 8 to the November 6, it will be located in the sign of Gemini. So Uranus is leaving Taurus. It did many damages when it was in Taurus, and also in the mundane astrology, Taurus is connected with the territories, and now we see the last fights for the territories. And this will completely change the situation on geopolitical scene in the year 25-26. When this division of the territories on the Earth happened in a strange way, as we did not expect, we can be sure that behind that are the globalist structures. So now they are very, very active, and we don't know how the Middle East or other places will look like. It seems that globalists will surprise us. This Uranus in Taurus was connected with geoengineering and these phenomena that appear that they are against the maintenance of biological life on our planet. And this is symbol of that artificial computer-controlled world. And it's still not the end, because Uranus will make the last conjunction with the star Algol from 26th of April to 13th of May. We called this combination the transformation of evil. If you want to remind yourself what is that about, you will find many my videos about this conjunction. But what is more even interesting is that when Uranus makes the conjunction with Algol, it enters the Gemini sign. And the same thing happened in 1942. So again, we are repeating something that was in the Second World War. We believe that Uranus in Gemini is in excellent position. It brings originality, new scientific discoveries, modern transport, communication, modern transportation, modern fly machines and things like that. But sometimes it can also mean accidents relating to the new technical challenges. So I assume that Uranus, like most of the big planets, will give better results from 2026. During 2025, its transit is very sensitive, maybe sometimes sensational during the summer, but still quite dangerous, especially in the first half of the year. And now let's say something about the square of Saturn and Jupiter that we will have. We finished the year 2024 with this square. And this square is now the first square that is happening after the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter that happened in the sign of Aquarius in 2020, which was the symbol of the awakening or widening the consciousness of people. And we know that this conjunction means that old king is leaving and the new one is born. Which one? One or many, few more, we don't know. But the change in the rule is happening. It is interesting that the square was on the 25th of December 2024 through the sign of Pisces and Gemini, which were struggles in medias connected to healing, or maybe medias connected to this modern and non-visible technology. There were lies about that. But in 2025, the square between Saturn and Jupiter will happen through the sign of Aries and Crab. This is that Cancer. And this is more important because these are cardinal signs. And if you wonder on which degree the square will be, of course, again, on the first degree. You know, these first degrees are really, really big new start. So they will make the square through the first degree of Aries and through the first degree of Crab. We know what this first degree of Aries means, and the first degree of Crab means that something is stolen from somebody in a way. So the square will mean that in the year 2025 we have to fight and to win for the liberation of those who are stolen, or things were stolen from them, or for the colonies. This is liberation of colonies. But it's a struggle. This liberation is not going easily. It is a really, really big struggle there. So Jupiter will in the year 2025 making square with Saturn, which means that this fantastic Jupiter in the fantastic sign of Crab, where Jupiter is exalted, will not give the best results. It will give good results, but not the best. We have to wait for the best results in the first half of the year 2026. So our generous teacher, Jupiter, our guru, the planet of Dharma, the myth-making principle with us, will be in the fantastic position in the sign of Crab. It will be in the Crab since June 9th, 2025. Before will be still in Gemini. It is everywhere good. You know, in Gemini is also good. Everywhere is good. But it is much better in the sign of Crab. Why will be in Crab? In the exaltation. It is possible that we'll have the function of the Great Protector, that will change the situation with real estate, make people's homes more pleasant, protect children, bring public success, bring great recognition for the good people, and so on and so on. Let me also mention that in April, Saturn and North Node will be making conjunction, which is trouble. This is the time. April is very sensitive month. It is the time when some crazy things can happen, and let's just watch that. You know, we cannot stop it, but let's just know about these crazy ideas of somebody, and let's hope that everything will be fine. At the end, I will say a few words for every zodiac sign. People with planets in the sign of Crab will have the most luck this year because Jupiter is in their sign. But the square with Saturn will remind them of the internal obstacles, something that still needs to be learned in order for life to flourish. Furthermore, Gemini, Aquarius, and Aries will experience interesting moments this year, especially those who have planets in the first decade of those signs. Libra, as the third air sign, can also expect great success, but they will have to be careful about relationships. Capricorns will now begin to discover new way of their value and will maybe make money in a different way. Pisces and Virgos have eclipses on their axis. Saturn is in Pisces still, which means that this is a period of re-examination of relationships and it's a good time for the further path of self-realization. But they have to learn a lot now. Leos will be very active in the first part of the year, and the third decade will still be under the influence of unpredictable Uranus, so unexpected things are possible. The transit of Uranus is slowly coming to the end for Taurus and Scorpios. Many will only now understand what has been happening for them in the last 6 years, and they will have the last opportunity to surprise themselves with new decisions or new discoveries about themselves. Sagittarius, the same as the crab, during this year will enjoy life very much because Jupiter, their planet, is in very strong position. So they will get knowledge, they will be very lucky. Actually, the lucky will be waiting for them in every their step. Especially it's important for them to feel that, not to complain, but to feel that really there is a luck on their side. And that is all for now. I wish you a very happy new year. Of course, if you want, you can order personal consultations with me based on astrology or based on the method that I use. The name of this method is the change of the code, the change of perception, and this method is helping us to work with our subconscious programs. If you like the video, like it, share it, and thank you very, very much for this in advance. I wish everyone the best luck in this another exciting year that will in many ways completely exceed our imaginations. And see you soon.